Hey guys, what's up? This is Diego here at Cinemageddon Reviews. So, the time has finally come. Godzilla vs. Kong is now out in theaters and on HBO Max. I've been doing a series of Godzilla reviews leading up to the release of this movie, and Sebastian has already uploaded his review of Kong Skull Island, and all those reviews are available to watch now on the channel. I'm really excited to finally conclude this series, so let's talk about it. But this is also a review where I get to tell you if it's worth watching in theaters amidst the coronavirus pandemic. So without further ado, welcome to another edition of Stories from the Wasteland. So Godzilla vs. Kong was directed by Adam Wingard, the man behind You're Next and The Guest, and that Death Note movie that nobody talks about and shouldn't be talked about ever again. And it stars Alexander Skarsgård, Millie Bobby Brown, Rebecca Hall, Julian Dennison, Eiza Gonzalez, Brian Tyree Henry, Kyle Chandler, Eiza Gonzalez, Demian Bichir, and last but not least, Eiza Gonzalez. So in this movie, Godzilla starts attacking people without provocation, and Alexander Skarsgård is called in to help lead a team of scientists to help get Kong to a certain place so he can help them defeat Godzilla. Meanwhile, you have Millie Bobby Brown, Julian Dennison, and Brian Tyree Henry heading up an investigation into some top-secret, possibly illegal antics around the world involving the Titans. And Eiza Gonzalez is in the movie, too. So if you've been subscribed to our channel for at least a little while, you know that we were all excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. I know I can speak for Sebastian and myself when I say that we both grew up watching Godzilla and King Kong. We've watched some of their best movies, as well as some movies we wish we hadn't. And a lot of folks have had some mixed feelings about the previous movies in the MonsterVerse. I myself have enjoyed all of them except for Kong Skull Island. I felt that the human characters, with a few exceptions, were kind of flat, and the Godzilla movies weren't perfect, but I still enjoyed them despite their flaws. I can easily say that Godzilla vs. Kong is the best one in the MonsterVerse by far. It's still not a perfect movie, and we'll get into that in a second, but the things that weren't so good in the previous movies, I felt were greatly improved in this one. One of the things fans complained about, not myself personally, but other fans, was that the monsters didn't have enough screen time, or were just plain overshadowed by the human characters. I think this time they've given us a pretty decent balance between human action and monster action. The second half especially is MonsterVerse on steroids. There are a lot of fun monster scenes in this movie. Let's get this out of the way. How are the fights between Godzilla and Kong? Because there is more than one. They're fantastic, easily the highlight of the movie. They're fun, they're inventive, and they actually had me on the edge of my seat this time around, which surprised me. I think the reason for that is because this is a movie about both Godzilla and King Kong, and it focuses equally on setting up both characters, while at the same time giving you plenty of fight scenes between the two of them. Being completely transparent, in the previous Godzilla and King Kong movies, you knew who was going to win. I mean, if it was a King Kong movie, then King Kong was going to win. Or if it was a Godzilla movie, then Godzilla was going to win. And so it kind of felt a little tensionless because you sort of knew what to expect. In Godzilla vs. Kong, the plot actually focuses equally on both characters, and so for that reason, you're not sure who's going to win, and if someone does win, regardless of who it is, you're not sure whether that's going to be the best thing for humanity, and it adds a whole extra layer of tension to the fight scenes. There's also a backstory between Kong and this little girl named Gia that actually was kind of sweet and endearing, and it made you care about Kong a little bit more, and I appreciated the fact that they actually humanized him a bit instead of just making him a big CGI monster. Speaking of the human characters in the movie, I felt that most of them were kind of flat. Some of them have like your basic motivation and surface level exploration of their past. I felt the main human villain especially was kind of like the Dos Equis guy, the most interesting man in the world. However, there are a lot more interesting characters in this one than all the previous Godzilla movies and King Kong movies put together. Millie Bobby Brown is likable in everything, and she continues to be likable here. Julian Dennison is also pretty great here. He has a lot of good chemistry with her. Brian Tyree Henry, however, was the highlight of the human scenes. He adds a lot of good humor to the movie, and despite his side of the story being a little detached from Godzilla and Kong, you were still entertained by it. And Eiza Gonzalez is in the movie too. Yep. Look, here's where I start to get into the negatives of the movie. I mentioned that most of the human characters were kind of flat. She's definitely one of them. She's one of those characters that once she walks onto the screen for the first time, you know exactly what she's there to do, and it adds basically no surprises, just kind of fills up the plot, really. Also, there's another character in the movie that has a pretty massive, and I'm talking fucking gigantic, connection to another character from the previous two Godzilla movies, and they basically do nothing to explore his motivation. This could have added a whole new level of depth to the human characters, to both monsters, to the story as a whole, but it's just completely glossed over. Aside from that, I had an awesome time with Godzilla vs. Kong. I think it's definitely worth seeing in theaters. The human characters are a lot more interesting this time, despite some missed potential with the others, and the monsters have a lot more fun action this time around. In my opinion, the most satisfying action in the whole MonsterVerse. If you're a fan of Godzilla and King Kong, I think it's definitely going to be up your alley. It did both characters justice, and it was just a fun ride from beginning to end. I actually kind of regret seeing it on HBO Max first. So with that said, my rating for Godzilla vs. Kong is 9.5 out of 10. As I said, it's not a perfect movie, but it was almost exactly what I hoped for, and it still managed to surprise me. It's not often that a Godzilla movie or a King Kong movie surprises me, but this one certainly did. Also, that 0.5 rating was for Eiza Gonzalez. Because, yes. I mean, yes. Yes. So now for the golden question. Is there a clear winner in this movie, or is it another one of these?
Save Martha!
Yes, there is a winner. Honestly, thank God, because if they had gone that route, I'd have been pissed. But no, there is a clear-cut, 100% definite winner, and I'm not going to spoil who it is, but I will say that you won't be disappointed regardless of who you're rooting for. So that's my review of Godzilla vs. Kong. If you've seen the film, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And once again, I'll ask you, are you Team Godzilla or Team Kong? Let me know in the comments. As always, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Diego for Cinemageddon Reviews, and I'll see you on the Wasteland.